video thing.
Well, Adam,
What's
Mr.
up?
Epos Box himself.
Yeah, that's me. I think
Have you read the news?
I've heard the news. I don't think anyone reads it anymore. I think I'm only supposed to hear it delivered in 60-second YouTuber voice chunks.
Well, it sounds like Giant Bomb is being thrown in the garbage yet again for like the third time.
Just keeps happening.
And along with that, in a unrelated but kind of related note, Polygon also being thrown in the garbage.
Yeah, in a much more deliberate and yet confusing way.
Yeah. I mean, like, at least on the Giant Bomb side, I think everyone knew they were on borrowed time when fandom picked them up.
Yeah.
This is just, you take one look at what fandom is offering you, and it's a lot of garbage wikis that are poorly maintained, filled with ads, lots of clickbait articles, clickbait website, whole websites just dedicated to clickbait and trying to get you to, or sucker you in. Giant Bomb doesn't really fit well in that business model. GameSpot doesn't really fit well in that business model. Giant Bomb might be dead now, and I'm very fearful for what's going to happen to GameSpot, but I'm not really super familiar with what happened to Polygon here.
So Polygon's history is so interesting because if you follow like the Reddit replies or the Twitter posts or whatever, you would think they've always just been this weird, like, overly PC, just like gamers who've never played video games thing. But they started right when I was in college. Like when I was looking for outlets to write for, Polygon had just come out and they were like a place that I was considering trying to go work for, but I was still in college. Right in like 2012, they had obviously the website, the written stuff. They had some really good, unique video stuff. Like I would argue, especially for the time, 2012 was early YouTube days. Polygon was putting out like professional gaming content that was fun. Like it was people doing investigative stuff, people just nerding out, but it was like produced with a documentary style that we didn't see yet on YouTube, on top of a website that was dedicated to the more almost like introspective side of gaming, where it wasn't just the raw headlines. Because from like 2007 on, everyone and their brother wanted to start up gaming websites where you just copy pasted the same headlines from each other and we're like, I'm reporting the news. And I worked for one of those for a while and it was miserable. But they were at least at the time trying to do something different. And then they got absorbed into Vox, and Vox has now sold them off to Valnet, the Saudi Arabian whatever conglomerate you want to refer to them as. And in the process, they laid off key staff, and then anyone who was in the union for them was just immediately laid off.
Jesus Christ.
And I think about that paired with the Giant Bomb, multiple layers of acquisitions and layoffs or like firings at this point. I was just starting this morning. I didn't make it very far, but Jeff Gerstmann just put out a new episode of his podcast to talk about it. And like the question he says is always asked was, what the fuck did you think you were buying here? And like, I ask this every time, like, why buy the thing that you're then going to immediately deem unprofitable and either lay people off or shut down? Why not at least set them up in a, like, why not let them spin off? Why not just be like, all right, who wants this? And not, we need to have this. Oh, wait, we don't like this. Never mind, shut it down. Like, why does this happen? And it's happened so many times. Game Informer is the only one that I think I've seen successfully survive this because they miraculously got the rights back.
Bought the IP. Yeah. Which is kind of what I was hoping would eventually happen with Giant Bomb.
Yeah.
Like it didn't. I was just hoping that we would see them regain full control of that website, because that's it is absurd to me that a crew as talented as the people that have been at GameSpot and Giant Bomb have had to deal with this much drama. I think the only other thing that is as crazy as how many times the people at GameSpot and Giant Bomb have been hired, fired, bought, sold, is probably Hulk Hogan suing the hell out of Kotaku or their parent company. Like
Right.
that is as maybe that's some hyperbole. I don't know, but like that's how I feel about it. It's I can't think of another group of people that have had to deal with that multiple times,
Yeah.
and they're just it's like these websites have been so innovative and so just stacked with talent. Like you don't realize it until you go back and look at what they've been a part of. Like GameSpot in particular. And now it's worth noting GameSpot seems to be fine right now. I'm only bringing them up because they are integral to how Giant Bomb came about.
Right.
Like it doesn't take much googling to see how those two things are linked. All of the key members of Giant Bomb started at GameSpot, and they were doing the things that they were doing at Giant Bomb at GameSpot. They were doing weekly video content, long form video content in 2001 on the internet.
Right.
Dude, if you wanted to watch video on the internet in 2001, you were on newgrounds.com
Yeah.
or you were watching E-Bombs World. Like you weren't on YouTube. There
Right.
was no YouTube.
Yeah.
You couldn't just like go to a centralized portal that had all of your content and just find whatever you want. It didn't exist. If you wanted to put video on the internet, you had to build the website, you had to build the infrastructure, you had to make it playable, find a way to make it playable for the viewer. Like it was crazy the amount of work that you had to do just to get this content on there. And they were doing long form content.
Right.
Like I remember it so clearly. I was looking for reviews for PS2 games because I had just gotten my PS2, and GameSpot came up right away.
Yep.
It was a review for Final Fantasy X that was written by Greg Kasavin. And at the bottom of the video, or at the bottom of the review at the time, you could see a little link that says, watch this review. And I'm thinking it's going to be like a minute long or something,
Right.
like a little sizzle reel or something like that. It's 12 minutes long. And it's completely free. And this is me as a kid. I don't have Tech TV. I don't have G4.
Yeah.
I don't have any kind of game subscription for like a magazine or anything like that. So this free content that is being delivered to me over the internet is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
And not only that, they did a weekly live show that you could call into, and they had like multi-camera. They were broadcasting gameplay. They're doing everything that you see on Twitch and YouTube today in 2001.
That's insane.
That is crazy. That is crazy. And then the Kane and Lynch thing happened. Everybody got fired, or well, more specifically, Jeff got fired, and then everybody left. And they went off to make Giant Bomb. And that is where they would continue that trend of doing super, super innovative stuff. This is still pre-YouTube or just at the start of YouTube. So they couldn't really dump all of this content off onto such a fresh platform. They had to own it. They had to know it.
Right.
Build it, host it themselves. And eventually that got too expensive and they had to find a new buyer. Surprise! GameSpot turns back up, wants to buy Giant Bomb, and since all the people that were responsible for the bad business that led to the creation of Giant Bomb were gone, they were cool with it. So they're back in the fold, and then few short years later, they sell the whole thing. CBS Interactive says, "I want to get out of internet media." They sell everything off. Fandom shows up, and here we are today. It's wild. I can't imagine selling. I can't imagine being on the other side of that and determining that you want to buy this website, knowing that it's kind of been a business failure since its inception.
Yeah.
But like, you know what that is. You know what you are buying. So why are you buying it?
Right. That's what I never understand in these situations. And it's happened time and time again. It happened with G4. It happened with Machinima. It happened with a plethora of different websites, and it's hard, and maybe you can relate, for someone who grew up with this stuff where it was like, this is where people who actually care about games are at, to then just be bought and sold as some property where the subject matter itself isn't at all cared about. Gaming,
Yeah,
like, it doesn't matter. They're not buying a gaming platform. They're buying what I guess they thought was some form of,
they bought the data. Like
yeah,
I think this is a transparent case of a company buying the user data.
yeah.
They wanted it for advertising purposes.
And it's
That's
just
my
so
guess
hard to
anyway.
swallow. Like,
Yeah,
because I can't imagine building, and I know I get very much more, since I run independent things. I get very much more personally invested. Like, I can't imagine building something like that and then wanting to just sell it off to some company that isn't there to do better with what you bought. And that was something that the creator of Polygon had put out, like, a series of posts on Blue Sky, talking about how, like, he was reminiscing on his memories of his original pitch for Polygon in the first place, sitting on his laptop as a young kid or whatever. And then,
I read
like,
these. Yeah,
the Valnet people would not accept a single meeting with him during the acquisition process to talk about, like, the goal of the site, the priorities for the site,
yeah.
because they don't care. Like you said, they bought the data, they bought the advertising traffic, and they bought a platform that they can try to milk dry with whatever they can squeeze on there.
On the other side of that, it sounds like fandom, once they had taken over Giant Bomb, they would similarly not take meetings with their creative.
Yep.
They would stonewall them on production ideas, would not give them advertising opportunities. So like already they're having like I don't want to speak too much like ill of like the business side of it, because I really don't know how a website like that stays profitable.
Right.
I can only make some educated guesses. But it definitely doesn't help when you find out that all of the subscription data or all of the subscription revenue that was supposedly coming in and supporting the website was actually just going straight into the pockets of the
Yeah.
parent owner, and they didn't tell them either.
Yeah.
Like, ow! I feel like that's got to be somewhat illegal at some point. Like,
Yeah.
you have people who think they are supporting one thing, and it's just lining the pockets of the filthy corporate overlords.
Yeah. I don't see how, honestly, it isn't illegal, like, in some regard. Like, it's being advertised as this one thing. And the worst part, like, I feel like if something like that was to have a legal precedence or, like, an actual case about it, Giant Bomb would be the one thrown under the bus.
Yeah,
Like, in that situation, it would be like, how did you not know? You're the one advertising that you're taking money for your site, so therefore you're the one who's going to get in trouble, not Phantom. Like, that would be insane. But that would 100%, that would probably be how that went. And that's just, I don't.
yeah. But where things stand today, Dan Reichert, the former creative director of Giant Bomb, I believe has left. He did a stream um, like a week ago where he
Yeah.
just kind of tore them down. The stream is not up anymore,
Uh-uh.
although I'm sure you can find it.
Yeah.
There was also an episode of the Giant Bombcast that went up that was very much a finale. That has been taken down.
Of
However,
course.
you can find it on archive.org. So I encourage you to seek that out. And
Yeah.
then they all followed another account on Instagram, which is slipping my mind. If you want to insert it somewhere, I've given you this is it. We're going to
Yeah.
do it here. We're going to do it right here. Go follow it. But all of the Giant Bomb people are following that, so they're probably going to do something similar to like what Nextlander was when Vinny, Brad, and Alex all left Giant Bomb initially. So kind of bums me out. There's just like all of these people are just separated now. Like, they all used to be on one place, and now you have Jeff off by himself doing his own thing, which is great. You have Nextlander, which is Vinny Caravella, Brad Shoemaker, and Alex Navarro. And then whatever this thing is, this is like new gen Giant Bomb people forming a new Giant Bomb, I guess.
Yeah. I
I
know.
don't get it. I don't get how something so influential and so like you don't you really take it for granted when you look at what Giant Bomb has brought to the table, like the modern format that all gaming YouTube content is really based on, kind of came from them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to say that they invented the Let's Play, but I am saying before they started posting 20, 30-minute long videos, quick looks, nobody else was doing it.
Right. Yeah.
You got sizzle reels from gaming companies that were highly edited and meant to try to trick you, and they were out here saying, "No, let's show the game.
Yeah.
Here's the game. Here it is in all its glory." And sometimes it ain't great.
And even with like XPlay and stuff, you wouldn't really get that for the most part. Like they might talk
No.
about it, but what you see is still basically the same sizzle reel. Like you had especially because their capture capabilities were so limited or whatever, and they had so many weird licensing things about not being able to show games. Like
Yeah.
like they'd have entire skits about games where they couldn't show the gameplay of the game, and it's like, whereas Giant Bomb could just kind of do it because it was a web show and they didn't have the TV restrictions.
They kind of eroded that need to really trust the reviewer by just presenting the game honestly to you like that.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, in order to really engage with review content, you have to trust this person's opinion. You have to trust that they're not just lying to you.
Yeah.
Like, you have to understand, like, this is their point of view, their opinion. But if you do something like a quick look, you're just presenting the game for what it is, and you're experiencing it live with them.
Right.
That was the most unique thing, the most captivating thing about it. Like, you're seeing these people experience this game for the first time. You are experiencing it for the first time with them. That's probably the best possible chance, the best way to sell something to somebody is just, hey, look at this.
And
everybody does it now. Yeah. Everybody does it.
And like, I'd argue that older format was more effective as a sales vehicle. Like, you get a quick look, and then your option to get more is to go buy the game and play it. Whereas like a Twitch stream,
right,
like you're just gonna sit through the game and be like, yeah, that was a solid 5 out of 10. I'm not a huge fan, having never played it, and just getting whatever like hot takes in the moment, and then never actually going and buying the game. Like, I feel like even as a marketing vehicle, the modern formats just aren't as effective.
Like, how many videos or how many times do you go and look for a game where, like, you just look up, I don't know, you want to look at Arc Raiders. That's the new hot thing. And you're going to go on YouTube, you search Arc Raiders content, and the first thing you're going to see is probably a 30-minute video from Jack Frags, and it's his live thoughts, his live first impressions of the game. That is a quick look.
Yeah.
That is 100% a quick look. And then if you really want to get down to it, that's very similar to something else that we no longer get anymore. The WTF is.
Yes.
So, just, man, I don't get it. I don't get how how these big corporate entities can come in and just so dramatically misunderstand what it is they are buying.
Yeah.
So drastically, rather, misunderstand what it is they're buying. I don't get it.
I don't know how. Like, to me, the obvious answer of how to keep this from happening is to stay independent and continue to be owned and managed by people who care about the thing. But I don't know how you do that when that in and of itself is its own job. Like, that most people in our position, for example, wouldn't be as interested in, versus being the people talking about the thing and playing the games and whatever. And so I don't know how you bridge that. And I know a lot of these groups have found success spinning off and doing their own little Patreon thing, but you definitely lose, like, they lose a lot of reach because it's kind of more of a niche down thing, because then it's just the people who really liked them from their former thing, and they struggle to grow from there.
Yep.
And you lose a lot of that magic, like you talked about, of that original ensemble, the original vibes, the format. Like,
there was just something really great about, like, I would be listening to on the spot. I'd be listening to the podcast. I would hear like Jeff or Brad or Alex. They would say something like, I'm playing this. And then in the live show, they would bring it there and show it to you. And just everybody that may have not understood what they were saying on the podcast but they fully understood it once the game was running in front of them.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing. And like, you're right. When the people spin off, like, I'm glad that they're finding success there. Like Nextlander, I'm glad it's doing super, super well.
Right.
But like, I can't direct people to that. Like, it's not like I can say go to IGN.com, go to GameSpot.com. I can't really. I have to explain what Nextlander is. I have to explain who Jeff Gerstmann is if I want people to go watch
Right.
his reviews. I value his opinion and his reviews greatly, but if I say just go watch Jeff Gerstmann, it doesn't have like the same weight as like someone saying go watch Siskel and Ebert. Like, it should, but it doesn't.
Right.
I don't know. I don't get it. I'm like really worried at this point that like games media or games journalism is just going to fully go away. Like, we've already seen so many great websites just get bought out and completely discarded. Places like Joystick. Do you remember Joystick? The Engadget website?
Yes. Engadget was one of my, like, every day I'd go to my mom's work after school where I had good internet, and I'd have like a list of sites that I was always like refreshing and bookmarking stuff from. And Engadget, an old school life hacker back in the day, was like one of my top
Engadget
things.
And then there was the little tab on the top that took you to Joystick. I'd go read that, just doom scroll. That's where I learned what a doom scroll was, because it was just
They had
this
the infinite
trickle
loading.
feed.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. It's how I spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
And another one that was much later, Waypoint. That was Vice.
Yep.
It was Vice Media. There's another one that's just felt like it had the rug pulled out from underneath of it, and everybody had to scatter to the wind. And same thing happened. It was like, yeah, they have Patreons now, and they're being supported, and that's great. But I can't direct them. I can't direct people anywhere. Just to like a real quick and easy, like, go to this website. It's easy.
And I think there's something about the magic of the collaborative environment with the original teams, and unfortunately probably some of the corporate direction or backing that you sometimes get in these environments. I think too, there was a photography channel called Digital Rev TV that was basically just a YouTube channel for a camera store in a specific, like, that only operated in a couple countries. But they had a couple hosts that they hired, kind of like Linus's situation, where they were just hired to make videos regularly to promote the store, but they had a lot of really creative ideas and a lot of really cool shows that, like, I still go back and watch to this day because they were so entertaining. Now the two primary hosts have gone on and like split off and done they're still full-time YouTubers doing their own things, but like, you don't have the shows anymore. It's just like gear reviews and whatever. And it's the same thing with a lot of the gaming people, is you lose a lot of the creative element of what the format might have been, what the secondary goals were beyond just standard game reviews, or you lose the context, like you said. Like, if you try to just direct them to this thing, it's like, well, here's this person who's wrote for this, and this, and now they're doing their own thing over here for this. And it's like, but what am I getting? What am I getting out of this?
I think like a good amount of the issue is, how do you monetize this stuff? Like, I was listening to Jeff talk about it a little bit, and he always said that one of the biggest problems they had was they would be told that they're not profitable. I'm paraphrasing here. They were told they're not profitable, but like, when it came to giving them the resources they needed to become profitable, say, get like a salesperson so that they could build some kind of sponsorship or work on some kind of revenue flow that would work off of the website, the podcast, the video content. They just would not give it to them. They would never have it. Like, they apparently had a deal in place to have the podcast join a podcast network, and that would have been a pretty significant revenue flow, but they just couldn't get approval for it. Like, why? This is money. What is the problem?
No, you're supposed to figure it out, but not if it is inconvenient to require 2 steps to do it.
They've somehow been like kneecapped like that repeatedly, and it seems like, I guess, other publications, like, how do these publications keep popping up with crazy corporate oversight that just is only interested in ruining the product. I don't
Yeah.
like how is this? How are there so many people that are above these amazing outlets, and then you hear like crazy horror stories where someone says uh, things like, "Is Grand Theft Auto popular?" I don't know if you heard
I
that
saw that
quote.
one.
Yeah, so like there's people out there that don't know that Grand Theft Auto is popular.
Yeah.
How to be that? I want to be that naive.
Yeah. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how you avoid it if it was so common for like every single one of these outlets to fall into. It really sucks to think that this is all going away. Both the
Yeah,
literal tangible thing, like at this point, enough people leave or fandom just decides it's not worth it. Like they could just close the website and you lose all of that history. You lose all of that context, everyone's bodies of work, and that has
dude,
happened to multiple websites.
that is a fully custom wiki
Yeah,
that was built from the ground up to be the largest game database on the internet. I believe it actually is the largest game database on the internet.
yeah,
And I can almost guarantee you they are going to replace the entire thing with the shitty
with the fandom
fandom
wiki.
wiki. They're going to do it. They're absolutely they've probably just been like itching to do it from the
Yep,
moment that they clicked transfer funds.
yeah. We can run this cheaper if we do it this way. Yeah,
Yeah, like that's been my biggest fear this whole time is we're gonna lose all of this type of content. Like I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now, but like we're losing the third place
yeah,
in real life, but we're also losing it on the internet. Like
yeah,
how many websites did you use for news or for just entertainment that you're reading? You just don't do it now
yeah.
because they're gone, or because all of the people that you liked reading, they're gone, uh, or the website has been turned into just a horrible clickbait monster website.
And a lot of people make the argument that you can get just much more in-depth, thorough, meaningful, blah 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 critique in YouTube videos these days. But
It's not the same.
it's not the same, and it's so hard to find. Like today, I watched a video from someone and started sharing it in the Discord where it looked like a typical clickbait homepage, like view grabby video where it's like, why are there no MMOs like RuneScape anymore? And then it evolved into a thorough, like, meaningful discussion about what you lose when you clone games like Dark Souls or certain first-person shooters, and like a very thorough, deep discussion that I was not expecting, and it blew me away. That happens once every few years at best. I go through as much gaming content as I can trying to find the good stuff, and most of it is not good. It is so hard to find, and you can't replace just those dedicated places where you know, like, this is the good shit. You
Yeah.
can't replace that with a sea of stuff where maybe one or two pieces are the kind of depth and meaning that you were hoping to get out of it when you had the other option.
I was gonna say, like, most of it is also not even like purpose made for you
Yes.
to view in that way. Like a lot of it just comes from their live stream.
Yep.
Like if I go into the gaming section on YouTube and I look what's recommended to me, it's gonna be some stuff that I want to watch. Like I'm gonna see a lot of Flats Overwatch,
Mm.
because he's playing a lot of Marvel Rivals right now.
Yeah.
And almost every single one of his videos is just taken from his stream. It's just a 20-minute segment that's been cut up
Yeah.
and taken from his stream. It's not the same thing. It's just not.
Yeah.
Like I want something that is very handcrafted, and that is not what a stream highlight is. I'm not trying to dunk on Flats. I'm not trying to dunk on others that have built their entire business model around streaming and then pulling clips from said stream. That's fine, but that is not the type of content that we're talking about here that is going to be going away more and more as these websites go away.
Yeah.
It's yeah. It's just not a suitable replacement. Like I want more of those handcrafted style videos to be popping up on my feed, and I'm just not getting it anymore. And eventually I feel like it's just going to go away entirely.
It's really funny to hear you say that because that was the exact fear I had about just YouTube content in general. Whenever we saw like the first big YouTube adpocalypse in like 2016, when everyone was flocking to Twitch,
Yeah.
and like anyone who wasn't flocking to Twitch was still like switching to that reaction cam, funny moments, haha, compilation style. And I was like, all of the meaningful, easy to connect with, like, I want to sit down and watch this content is going to turn to live slop and donation like bait. And that's going to like, and it ruined so many channels that I loved watching in the gaming space. That
When's the last time you watched a video where they didn't do this? Thanks for that, chat.
Yeah.
I love chat. I do. I really do. This is me talking directly to the chat right now. The comments on this video. I love you guys. But I totally would love to watch a video without somebody looking into the camera and saying, "Thanks, chat."
Yeah.
Just would like to see the return of that.
Yeah. And like, we kind of bounce back, but everything just seems to go this direction. And I just want to give a shout out to Nathan Grayson's headline over at Aftermath of Polygon and Giant Bomb are being sacrificed at the altar of slop, because that is what it has felt like. And it has felt like every time we go through one of these changes, every time a set of websites gets shut down or people get laid off, every time people flock from YouTube to Twitch and go from spending days or weeks making good videos to just streaming their forehead as they yell at a game and say thanks, chat, and then spend half an hour thanking everyone who followed and subbed and did prime subs and you got any prime subs in the chat, blah blah blah, and then it turned into these montages of blah blah blah, thanks, chat, oh, fail, oh, my computer crash, and it's entertainment.
Not there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, it's entertainment for kids and for people who like that kind of thing, and I enjoy the video occasionally, but removing one thing to get the other is not a fair trade, I don't think. And I don't know, as it feels like everything is going to slop. I hope we have a way around it. And I know a lot of people are very optimistic about it, all of the independent projects to be spun up around this, but I guess my response is I'm going to wait and see, because I don't see anyone getting the same kind of name recognition and kind of authority earning spot anymore. That's all going to the angry, sweaty, unshowered streamers now.
Let me tell you something. Let me explain this.
Uh-huh.
I didn't say anything.
Uh-huh. Well, you see, the thing is, here's the thing.
No. Yeah, I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time. Well, for as long as a week at least. But I was a little worried to put like any kind of video, because I recorded, I think collectively like 45 minutes worth of just talking head footage of me kind of reacting to that news. And
I still want to see that.
Tough to, I know. And I think I might still put it up, but like, it's tough to put stuff like that out there and not worry about like it coming off like super cringe or something, or like almost like I have like a parasocial relationship with these websites, these personalities, and I don't want to come off that way. It's just, I was a kid when I started watching it, and it really just hurts my soul to see these people that have given me so much entertainment and have informed my taste in games, music, movies. Like, I've been watching them for such a long time that I can literally point back to points on the internet when I discovered things and when I got into things because of stuff that I had seen on these websites. That's the main reason I wanted to talk about it. Like, this is not some new thing that just popped up overnight and then went away just as quick. Those YouTube channels come and go constantly, where it's just overnight, here's 1 million subscribers, they're on top of the world, they're at WrestleMania, and then the next day they're completely gone, not posting content, just unexplained. This is completely different. These are real people. These are real people that have defined entire generations of content and defined entire generations of how we view like games journalism, and it's just going to go away.
Yeah.
It's just all going to go away. It's sad. It's extremely sad. And I don't think people are really going to feel the effects until until it's fully happened. And they're not going to understand why. You're going to see I want to say that you even posted a video of it, but you're going to start to see more videos of people saying like gaming feels
Yeah,
worse now or different now, or it doesn't feel the same. And it's going to be because of stuff like this. Was
probably.
it a Jeff Grubb video?
Yeah, he had one titled that.
Yeah, it was something like gaming feels different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that like a couple of nights ago. To my point. I don't see how games journalism can continue to be sustainable when this keeps happening. And honestly, if games journalism goes down, I would be really concerned about the state of the gaming industry in general. I mean, it's already pretty rough out there, but like imagine if these people that are being taken advantage of to get these games out the door, these games that are being crunched, and all of these employees are just being mercilessly turned and burned
Right.
to get these games out the door. Imagine if they did not have any of these game journalists to advocate for them, because that's the value that they present here, is they have someone they can potentially talk to and make these changes happen, because otherwise they're just going to continue to hire and fire all these people, get as much money and value out of them as they possibly can, and then grind them into the dirt.
Just like the websites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Pour one out, I guess, for
Okay.
not just
Pour one out. Oh, sorry.
for not just Giant Bomb or Polygon, but the industry
All of
on
them.
the whole, like all of them at this point. And
Yeah.
I hope this isn't the end, but like I don't see much of a glimmer of hope anymore. Like for a while it was all like, yeah, Patreon's gonna save the day, and then we've already talked about why that hasn't fully
It's
worked. Like
just it's not the same thing.
I think we lose a
It's
lot.
good for you and me, but it's not good for if you want to grow.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like my proclivity to not live in nostalgia, but remind you of nostalgic things. And it's not because overall, although this is an example, we're sure, but like overall, I'm not just sitting here saying all day that old is better, new, modern, blah, blah, blah is bad. But we
Right.
lose a lot along the way with every major paradigm shift, era change, whatever. And this is one of those instances where a lot of people probably like where things are going because they didn't grow up with this. They don't appreciate the value of it or whatever. But what we lose as we get away from it will still affect everything they consume and the impact on the
Yeah.
industry. And we have to be reminded of where it came from in order to know that we lost it, I think.
Yep. I mean, yeah, if you think that we're overreacting here, when's the last time you watched a game trailers video? Or when's the last time you even thought about Rev 3 games?
Yeah.
Or maybe you should try to tune into your TV and watch some G4. Oh,
man.
you can't do that either.
Another instance of just like, how do you mismanage it twice or technically 3 times? Like how and then those people went on to form Machinima and mismanaged it again. And I'm just like, it should be straightforward by this point.
How do we end this
I
on
don't
like a
know.
brighter note?
I've been waiting. I've been waiting to figure that out this whole time, and nothing feels like a good way to just end.
All right. I'm gonna try to come up with something here. If you really like agree with what's being said, or what's, because we just kind of ranted about something that we're passionate about here for about an hour. If you have any interesting thoughts or opinions, please share them down below. We are going to link all of the applicable websites, Patreons, whatever, that these people are going to be going to, because they truly do need the support now. But if you like anything that we're talking about right now, the best thing you can possibly do is support them directly. Like, that's core to the problem, is they don't seem to be getting the support they need to survive on their own, and they have to rely on these big acquisitions to keep them going. So just support them So we're gonna link everything in the video. There'll be a comment or somewhere. There'll be links for wherever the Giant Bomb folks end up going. Nextlander, Jeff's stuff, the Polygon crew, wherever they end up going, we'll link their stuff too. Just support them, follow them. That's the only thing that you really can do. Vote with your dollars. Give your dollars to them.
And your page views and whatever.
Yeah, and maybe one day we'll get a super group again, and they can all form a website, and we can, go back to having a third place. something that we could just go back to and trust and say, hey, you want to know about this new game, this Claire Obscure 33 thing? Go to .com. Maybe one day that'll happen again. I hope anyway.
Yeah, that's a good way to fire it off. And remember to be kind, rewind.
Yeah, do that too.
Thanks, chat. Love you, chat. Chat.
Hey,
chat.
Thanks, chat. Thanks, chat. Wait. Thanks, chat. Oh, I think I broke my... Yeah, I think did it come back?
Oh, now you did. You were like black and white for a minute.
I picked the camera up and like raised it up. I don't want anyone growing up and being like Asmongold. Okay, take a shower, touch grass. Don't fucking do that. Like, I don't care. You can like his opinions, but you can also take a shower. That these two things, they don't have to be linked. They don't leave gigantic piles of Wendy's cups and cockroaches in your room. It's okay to clean up a little bit. And like, I know that we're focusing too much on the dirt, but there's so much dirt. There's just so much. It's kind of a problem when you're wiping blood.